Hello all, this is Daniel Berman, USCF Expert 2110. It's been a few months since I've done a video, and I decided to do another video of a game I played on freechess.org. I played an expert. I was on the black side of the King's Indian defense. I have a lot of material to go over, so let's just begin. My opponent played d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight to f3, bishop g7, knight c3, castles, e4, and d6. And this is the tabia, or the beginning, of the King's Indian defense. My opponent played bishop to e2. I played e5. And my opponent here played d5, which is the beginning of the Petrosian variation of the King's Indian defense. Normally, most high-level players are playing castles, knight c6, d5, knight e7, which gets you into the this is the classical variation of the King's Indian defense. But my opponent played d5. So I continued with the mainline book. I've had 5 games that I can recall where I've scored 4 wins and a loss. So I was pretty happy to see this. And my loss was against a senior master, so it wasn't too bad. So I've actually was pretty booked up for this. I played a5, bishop to g5, h6, bishop h4, knight a6, knight to d2, and queen to e8. We're still in book. And here my opponent played an unusual move which I've never seen before, but apparently has been played before in a tournament, which is bishop f6. And apparently with best play, black can get equality, so the top players don't play this because of that. And I continued bishop to f6. And my opponent played a3 with the idea of trying to get in b4. And right now, he could play, if it was his turn, he could play b4. And I would go pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. And black could not play knight takes b4 because the rook on a1 would take the rook on a8. So to prevent b4, white's queenside expansion, I play bishop to d7, which is a similar line in the main line. My queen is now protecting my rook on a8, so if he played b4, I'd win a pawn. So he plays b3. And I play bishop to g7, trying to get my pawn from f7 to f5, and eventually f4, and hopefully get a kingside attack. And in this variation, just like other variations of the King's Indian defense, black's plan is to push his kingside pawns, while white's plan is to push white's queenside pawns for a counter-attacking setup. Castles, f5, f3. And by the way, in this game, I do use my pawns on the king side to attack to get a nice win. Bishop f6, activating my bishop that's not doing anything on g7. Queen c2, bishop to g5, basically trying to get my bishop on the a7 to g1 diagonal, where it's way more useful than on g7. King h8, bishop to e3, bishop to d3, queen to e7, trying to get my queen to h4. And pretty much my plan is simply just try to get all my pieces, as many of my pieces as I can, to attack the king and pawns. And Gary Kasparov has this theory that when the pawns get closer to the 8th rank, they become more like pieces. So if I have a bishop and a queen and a few pawns close to his king, I have 2 pieces and a queen on his king. Rook e1, bishop to d4, pinning. Rook b1, queen h5, knight to e2, attacking my bishop, and I don't want him to get my bishop. Bishop c5, attacking, had to defend, so it's defending with queen a2. f4, stopping these pieces from coming in the game by just shutting it down, and my pawns are going to go forward and break it open, and the help with this bishop too, amazingly. Knight c3, g5, bishop to f1, h5, I'm coming, knight to a4, bishop f2, rook to e2, bishop g3, and here I'm threatening checkmate, and there's only one move. g3, pawn push, breaking it open, king to g1, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and here I'm up a pawn, and white has no counterplay. So I move my king away to get my rook active on the g file. Rook g8, rook b2, now I'm doubling, and then check. And here, there's a little bit of danger, not much, but if he could get a queen and rook on the g file, then I'd be in trouble. But I realized that there's no way that he can get both, so I could take a free pawn. Queen e2, trading down when he's down material. Now I'm up 2 pawns, takes, and the rest is trivial. However, it's a nice ending. One more trick. When you have 2 pawns, one file apart, you have the unique opportunity of moving your 2 pawns without having to use your king till the very end. So right now it looks like he could just walk in and win my h-pawn, but I played f3, and if he takes my h-pawn, the f-pawn queen, so he can't take it. So he goes back. Now I get to move my king, and he goes back, and now I did it again. He can't take the f-pawn, and he can't go back, I queen. So it was a nice pawn win at the end. And here my opponent resigned. So I hope you liked this game, and I'll see you next time. I'll try to do another video quicker. Thanks.